So thank you so much for buying this mini unit. This is my second mini unit. My first mini unit, it was about food and culture with an RA focus. This one's about apologies, and it's more of an argumentative focus, but we do a little bit of rhetorical analysis. Now, full disclosure, this is built for an AP Lang course, though it could easily be modifiable to any ELA course or like a pre-AP course. So I'm going to kind of go over how I do thematic units. These are typically done second semester to me. First semester, we do a full unit on the three types of essays: argument, RA, synthesis, not necessarily in that order. And then second semester, I say, hey, here are all of the thematic units I've created. Which ones do you guys want to do? And this year, they really wanted to do the art of saying sorry, public regret, and the language of accountability. So what you're going to get is 54 slides with a bunch of links in it. And so if you look here, this is going to be your unit overview. The first week is based on rhetorical analysis. The second week is argumentative focus. And the third week is argumentative assessment. And the way that I do mini units is a little bit different. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through each thing. So your first day, you have this activity called a recipe for redemption. This is a fun little activity where I just post this to Schoology. Students have the ability to edit. I put them in groups. Each group is in charge of a part of a type of redemption. And then they work together to create a recipe on how to be redeemed. And they focus on different stuff. And we watch this cute little video, like a news segment, and we talk about how their presentation can be modeled after it. So it's a great activity practicing rhetorical analysis because I asked them to kind of do a metaphor style, like, are you going to add a pinch of sorrow and a tablespoon of dishonesty or something? Sometimes they get a little fun with it. So that's a fun little opening activity. Then on the day 2, I have this thing called an error-free RA method. It's just a little method. I give this to my students who are really struggling. Great for differentiation. I tell them, look, this isn't going to get you 5 or 6 on the essay, but it's going to get you points, right? And so if you're just like straight up not understanding RA, which we know happens, it's a great method to kind of introduce if you want to. Then they go into this apology analysis activity. And at the top, you'll see guiding questions, commentary guiding questions, so evidence and commentary, sentence starters for both. And then I typically do this first one together as a class. We read it. What do you see? What are they doing? How are they doing it? And why are they doing it? And then they do the second one the second 2 at a table. And then I have them pick between these 3 and they do it all again. They really like it. It's very pop culture and present. Then the next day, they go on to a longer apology with this RA practice. I love this RA practice. I often reuse this assignment, and I just replace these 2, so it works out great. So they're identifying space, and then they're essentially outlining an essay here. And within here, you're going to see a link to a Kanye West apology, a Tiger Woods apology. And you're also going to see this. This is a link to rhetorically accurate verbs. So I try to get my students to say things other than says, right? Okay. So then on Thursday, we do a timed outline with this Pope Francis apology. Friday, they look at these 2 different Bill Clinton speeches, and they have to, he's apologizing for the same thing, but they have to do an analysis of the audience, like how does his rhetorical choices change. So once we look into RA, we talk about the different strategies people use to like essentially get their argument across. We go more into the argumentative focus. So we do this thing called the dinner party. I have it both linked here and I imported slides in here, so you kind of get the student facing element. This is my version of a Socratic seminar. So when they come to class, I have music playing. It's like a dinner party. I have a bunch of ties. They put on the ties. They get this little dinner plate. And here's how it works. They spend, and I'm going to slideshow it so you can see. So you discuss for 1 minute, write for 2. Here's your prompt. And then we do a 5-minute discussion. And it's just a normal Socratic seminar. You can grade it if you want to. I don't. And then I give them an example of my thesis statement of how I would do it. And then an optional activity, and delete that yellow if you don't want to do it, is students who disagree with me rewrite the thesis, and students who agree with me brainstorm different chores for that topic. So we do a 4 right here. They're all modeled after AP Lang prompts, and they all have something to do with the theme of apologies or remorse. So that always goes well. They love dinner parties. We do them all the time. After that, we have a chores web activity. This is something that my students find really valuable. I just get big posters, I put them all over my room, and they essentially create little webs. Side note, wherever you see a yellow box, this is directions for you. Change it, edit it, move it around. But that's just a tidbit of how you want to alter this to fit in your class, or just delete it and go with the flow. So I have them make big webs, and I'm really just trying to get them to connect their things to ideas, because I really want them to shape their arguments in ideas and not things, so they have more to say. Then we do a timed outline. This is about public apologies, or no, this is about remorse. Then we talk about it. I go over my example. You can if you want to. You do not have to. So here's the slide that I put up for the timed outline. And then I say, here's my initial reaction. This is how I dissected the prompt. You can change this. You can use it. I have them skipped here. To unskip, you just right click and click unskip. And then here's how I would kind of outline it to give them an example of how I outline it. I teach 3 paragraphs, the third paragraph being a counter. I teach something called a counter close thesis statement, but you can always swap that out with the way that you teach, or just take it. I don't care. And then they do a timed outline and reflection. I put them in groups, and they spend 5 minutes answering each question, and each person should answer. The next day they come in, and I give them 20 minutes to write as much of that essay as they possibly can. Then they go through a little peer review. I put their groups there, and there's a reflection. And if you go to the main page that has all the links, there is a link to a TPT peer review. I'm sorry, not a TPT, a peer review activity here. And it has a peer review for all of the essays, not just this one, so you can use it for whenever. Then we take a little bit of a break, and I want to build background knowledge. So we listen to this podcast by Radiolab called Apologetical. Here's a link to the YouTube. Here's a link to the transcript. They do talk about the death of a child in it. I try to stop every 15 minutes and have them fill out the little worksheet that is right here. And I try to make it related to common themes and ideas that we see. Then we're going to come into the last week. So for me, for a mini unit, the way that I do it is anytime I assign an essay, I assign 2 essays. So Monday they're going to come in, and there's going to be a bunch of stations. They can choose which station they want to do. I'll show you what that looks like right here. So we kind of expand on all of the things that we've done. I do give them a new prompt, and if you click here, you can see my master sheet that I got online of all the examples. And then I also do mini meetings during this time. So I say sign up with a buddy. I call them their emotional support buddy. Bring something to talk about. It can be a dinner party prompt, your timed outline, any writing you did about chores, and we have those little meetings. Then for the remainder of that week, they do 2 essays. They do this essay, which is related to the theme. And then they do an essay that was done on a previous test. So whatever essay you haven't done yet. And then on Friday, they pick which of those 2 essays they want me to grade. My students love this. They get twice as much essay writing done. I think my students do about 12 to 16 essays a year. I only grade 6 of them though. And they really like that experience. And then what I try to do is I do 1 essay that's related to the theme and 1 essay that is not related to the theme. That way, if the students are really, really struggling with the concept of apologies, they still got a chance. And then the last thing that I have for you is right here at the end are optional journals and bell ringers. So little things that you can throw on the board to start your class if you wanted to do that. I throw in a little bit of synthesis practice here, drawing inferences, get them to do a little bit of reflecting on their own time, some journals, some up and movement, and stuff like that. So that is my mini unit. I hope you really, really enjoyed it. My other one is about food and culture, and more will come. Okay, have a good one. Happy teaching.